Slungy y'all, welcome. It's December. Not only it's December, it's the middle of December. We're 2 weeks from Christmas last night. This is crazy. Where has this year gone? And it's time that we start talking about kind of all those drams we've had and the bottles. And this is the time where everybody comes out and says, this is the best whiskey of this year. And that's really a hard thing to do because it's so subjective and best is relative. So I hemmed and hawed a bit about this topic, and I just decided we're going to talk favorites tonight. Um, Best, again, depends on how you look at certain things. I like to think of things as favorites as being things that stood out and really got you to say, wow, whether they're a better than this competition type thing, I didn't really want to do. There's plenty out there to go find. And if you're looking for the hot next thing, there's some really great channels out there that are putting out some super lists. Tonight is almost like going back in the year and nailing down a couple of, not a couple, y'all. This is just, I need to get another camera for next year where you see what my desk looks like because it is piled with whiskey that we're going to talk about. So yeah, I'm excited to share my favorites, but I want to hear from each of you on what your favorites are. So if you're in the chat right now, let me know what those things are. And if you're watching on replay, leave your comments there in the comment section about what your favorites, your standout, what was your wow whiskey this year. So yeah, let's head over. I want to see I see a bunch of people are active. I love it. Trooper, glad you could join us. Sorry that you can't have anything while you're out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. I got you covered, boo. I got you. I got 4 drams out of the 4 categories that I kind of picked tonight because, it's kind of like the commercial where they're like, do you have soft tacos or hot tacos? And the little girl says, why not both? I can't have just one type of dram. So I have 4 different categories that we're going to talk about, but we got you covered. We're all going to have a dram for you, friend. Just be safe out there. Hey Rob, great seeing you. And yeah, tell me what everybody's drinking. What you drinking tonight? What has been your favorite this year for sure? Awesome. Let's see who else is here. I see. Let's see. Oh, there. Okay. We're getting there. Hey, okay. Hey, Molasses Mike's in. Hey, and Jennifer's in. Awesome. Good to see you, friend. And Andrew, I'm so glad that you're awake now. Thanks for being awake in the middle of the night for us. So I have to say, you must all go back to last week's show where we were talking about this. Actually, I still have it. It's this vintage gift. We were talking about gifts last week. And Andrew answered the question that we had about proof. And it's an imperial proof situation. And he explains it beautifully. I'm going to maybe even we'll put it in the comment section in this video so you can find it. For those who didn't get to see this next week, and that includes you, Andrew, this was gifted to me, this old black and white bar bottle, I guess you could call it. And it's actually a music box. It's so very cool and plays, I think, The Impossible Dream, Don Quixote, if it plays. Oh, and you open it up. There we go. And it's a cigarette holder for a bar, which I just think is the coolest thing ever. And yes, these are candy cigarettes because, yeah. So, but it's marked, the black and white is marked at 73% or 73 proof or 70 proof. And Andrew has a beautiful explanation about why that it really is okay because it meets imperial proof. So I'll post that. So thanks again, Andrew, for your explanation and for being here tonight. Tater Dom is in. Awesome, awesome. Whiskey and Wine Trails. Hey, Slanja, everybody. Hey, Tom. Great seeing you. Thanks for being in. And Sugar Kitty, meow to you. Kilco, Bronze, great seeing you here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of good fun stuff. So first one coming in from Tom. Your fave purchase was an SMWS 149. 149 is going to be that number that we all go, oh, that's Ardemurkin. Your favorite dram. So that was your favorite purchase, but your favorite dram was the Springbank cage bottle poured by Roy at the Bonaccord. Wow. And I'm trying to remember if it was this. I think Graham and I have the same cage bottle. This is, and we'll talk about that because it actually is on my list too. How cool is that? I love it. Great minds think alike. That's for sure. I want to go back on. I see we missed a couple folks on what they were drinking. And then we're going to get into what I have poured in the glass. For sure. Oh, Tater Dom has a Michter's 10 rye was your favorite of this year. Interesting. Well, that's cool. I mean, I actually really like rye. I like that spice. I may have to go seek that out and see what that tastes like. Yum, yum. So the James Eady, drinking a Tenic in a Melange. Oh gosh, hang on. My squinting's not doing enough good. Melange cask from James Eady. Well, that sounds interesting. I'll have to look that one up too. Jennifer is talking about, she said the Ben Romick overall was one of your favorite discoveries this year. And now I'm guessing that was from the festival. Don't even get you started on their 40-year-old. Yeah, there was some hella good unicorn drams up there. And some in Scotland that we had this year, quite frankly. But wow. I mean, I know I turned into a Gordon and MacPhail Richard Urquhart fan in Victoria. That was for sure. So good. Hey Kevin, good to see you, friend. You're having an Octomore, just an Octomore 14.1. Trying to save up for the 14.2. Yeah, you're not the only one I know that likes to swing that one, bud. Wow, just getting a little bit of your Pete on there for sure. They just sound so good. I've always loved them. Hey, Brian's got opened up a Kilkerran 12 recently. Truly amazing. It just is so good. Just such a good bourbon, matured. Their peat smoke is so just solid. I found most of the Kilkerrans are really nicely balanced, just very nice. Hey, my friend, I was talking about you. Hey, Graham, good to see you. Yeah, but your explanation itself, Andrew, I'm telling you, it is definitely a whatever true it is. It was a great explanation, and I appreciate it very much. Lysis is saying that the Kilkerran 8 sherry cask was your favorite. And that was this one. That's cool. This year, I didn't get the 8 from this year. Mike Pitts, you're so smart. That's going to bring us to our first chat here. The old Pedro Jimenez pour that we had. Yeah, that was amazing, wasn't it? It really was. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. Y'all always see something I don't know or I'm not really familiar with. You jump in those chats and you help me out. And that's the beauty because you're helping everybody out, right? You're letting everybody know. So it's a Southern Spanish sweet fortified wine alternative to sherry. Oh, lovely. I might have to find out more about that. Yay. Hey, Stacey, thanks for being in. I appreciate it. Jesse, Graham was talking about you got some duty paid cask samples from Ian McAllister. Yeah, an 8 and a 9-year-old that were stunning. So let's break that sentence down, shall we? First of all, you get 8 or 9-year-old Glen Scotia from the man himself. I mean, come on. Yeah, I can see that, Graham. I can see it. I love the picture of his office, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go walk into Ian McAllister's office and have a little, have a little chat with him and drink a little whiskey and walk out with some really cool samples. Very cool. Very cool. Hey, Peter. Great seeing you, friend. Talisker Storm last night. Very nice. Um, oh, that's sweet, babe. That's awesome. That's a special place. That really is. And thanks for sharing that too. That's it. Next time I have a Talisker, I'll think about you and your mom for sure. So let's kind of dive into this because like I said, I have 4 poured. They're very small. Mainly because I want to get through a lot of these. But as I started pulling bottles and going through pictures and trying to figure out what my faves were for this year, it was very evident that one was not going to do it. I couldn't say dun da da da. I might could call through this and give you a top 3 maybe, but all of these tasted fabulous. So that first and foremost, the taste of this was of all of these were fantastic and something that I would absolutely recommend. But a lot of them were associated with other things, with the trips we took or the environment we are in or the people I encountered when we had some of these, when I had some of these. And I think, just as Peter just shared, that relationship with the whiskey that is tied to something else just takes it up to 11, if you know what I mean. So it's school time. We have a presentation. Aren't y'all excited? So we are going to get into my faves for 2023. And we are going to start with a category of blends. Blends. This year was the year of the blend for me because up until this point, I had not had a lot of blends. And they were maybe some compass boxes, and they were usually the entry level compass box and things like that. So these are 4 blends that made me say, wow, for different reasons. And, the first 2, the Compass Box Orchard House, which I will say this empty bottle is probably the 3rd one in the house. Just fantastic value, maybe $50. And it's just it tastes like you had been walking through an orchard and the blooms are out and it's floral and it was sweet and very well balanced. But then it had a little scooch, an ever so light touch of peat at the end. Amazing. Just enough to surprise you. The second one is one that I had when I'm trying to think the first time I had it, but Roy poured it for me at his house, and then we had it when we went to Ardnamurchan, and it's the Adelphi version. Of course, they owe Ardnamurchan of McLean's Nose. 35 pounds, I think, maybe 32, 35 pounds. I haven't found it in the States yet. I don't know. I know that I think someone has said it's over on the West Coast right now. Hadn't come down to the Bayou yet. But both of those bottles are must buys. I mean, they're just for the value, for the money. They were some of my favorites. And they opened me up to blends. Both have grain in them. So they're primarily malt, but like I think even the Ardnamurchan or the McLean's Nose is like 70% malt, 30% grain. And that malt is Ardnamurchan malt, right? Really great value, very, very tasty. Those who've had these, just light up the chat in the comments. Let me know what you think about them. But those two are a couple of my really favorites. Again, both were very well balanced to me. For grain, I think the higher the grain in a blend, the more I can kind of pull those harsher notes out with my palate. So being able to have these with that much grain in them, I was very, very impressed. The third bottle there, where is it? There it is one I brought home from Scotland. I had quite a bit of it over there with someone else's open bottle. But this would be the Thompson Brothers blended Scotch whiskey. And so it has a scooch of grain in it. Graham probably knows. Andrew, somebody else probably knows the percentage. But again, they do have a QR code where you can find out all the information on it, just like Ardnamurchan does, which I absolutely adore. This bottle was like less than 40 pounds, huh? I want to say that's what it was. Just day in and day out, all day long. A fantastic choice. Which brings us to the fourth one that Mike Pitts, my buddy, one of my Scotch buddies here in Baton Rouge, brought to order. This bottle was given to me by this fabulous gentleman here in the chat named Graham Fraser. On this last trip, I brought it home. And again, not understanding, not having really a lot of exposure to blends per se over here. It's not like you get, we're doing good if we can get Scotch, like single malt, and to try to get like a blended malt, which this is. So our most prevalent blended malts here are going to be a Monkey Shoulder and Naked Grouse or Naked Malt now. Those are our big, commercial versions. Old Perth might be in some of the other big stores like a Benny's or like a Specs or something like that, but they're not going to be at my local place. So for this gift, and Graham, I want you to see this. I shared this, opened it up with my buddies in our Scotch group a couple weekends ago. We're here. Mike was one of those. And when I tell you the wows came out, not only do the wows come out, but this is also won the best blend, I believe, at the Scotch Whisky Awards this year. So it's hard to find. There's some still out there. I would say I wouldn't be mad at anybody buying another bottle and holding it for me over there in Scotland. I'm just saying. But man, what a fabulous nose. So this was the entire, let me read it about it for you. So this was blended and bottled in Perth, which is the historic blending capital of Scotland. And its whole maturation, I'm pretty sure, was in the Pedro Jimenez casks. Yep. Man. The notes are luxurious grape. It's very concentrated. It's natural acidity, maturation in PX, sherry casks, results in a full flavor with a velvety texture. The nose is so beautiful on this. And it's a sherry nose, but it's got depth. And here's the other fabulous thing about this. So it's a blended malt. It's single malt but from more than one distillery, hence the blended part. 56.2. 56.2, friends. Look at this beautiful thing. 56.2. Look at that gorgeous, absolutely stunning color. Absolutely fabulous. And I'm sure the chat's like firing up. But y'all, find it. Find it if you can. So Rob says one of his favorites was a 10-year-old Tennessee independent bottling from Murray McDavid. Doing some really good stuff. I got a really good article. So Hamish, Malcolm from Inverness, Bar 5 folks know about him. Lovely gentleman. And he gifted me this gorgeous book and talks a lot about, there's a really great article in here about Dean, let's see, the things that they're doing at Murray McDavid. So the name of the book, and I think Graham, you were even talking about this one because they have Holyrood in the next issue, but you even think that that's a good publication as well. But yeah, they're putting out some really beautiful things, absolutely stunning. Hey, there you go, Peter. Get that Lafroig 10 going. That all day, every day, friend. You bet. Goodness gracious. So Kevin says the heavily peated batch 6 was one of your favorite off the shelf this year. 6 bottles. Wow. Actually I was in Martin's this weekend. I saw that they had that. And I've heard some really good things about it. Very good things. Let's see. Yeah, don't you think, Stacey? I mean, that's just it's such a good dram, and it's just very good value, I think. And hey, Peter. So you had some great Arizona bourbons at a class at Venture Stills. Ah, interesting. You have to let us know which ones. I'm always wanting to learn. Bourbon's not always my thing, but yeah. Blends that make you say wow. Because some make you go, whoa. You want wow, not whoa, Oh, that's so funny. Tom, you're already going back in 3 weeks in August. That's a beautiful time to go. The heather should just be gorgeous over there by then. I know. Yes, this is the award of something. The best blended malt at the Scotch Whisky Awards. And immediately it was hard to find after that. Because I have looked a couple of times for some other things. Hey, Mark G is in. Hey, my friend. I hope you're doing well. It looks like a bottle of Merlot. True that. I mean, it is so dark. So dark. Oh, hey, Donner. Good to see you, Tim. Glad you're here. Cool. Yeah. We'll have a dram for you while you're still at work. We'll do that for sure. So Peter's talking about, is that it? No. But he agrees. Tom agrees. Big fan of McNair's Limerick 10-year cask strength. Huh. Is that some of the Arizona? Because I know y'all are the Arizona connection there. I love it. Okay, so you've got batch 8. Batch 6 is what you said you liked. Okay, but batch 8's there. Gotcha. Boy knows his batches for sure. For sure. So yeah, this tastes as good as it looks, y'all. I might say. We're gonna move along because I have 3 more to go, and we're almost halfway through the show. So we'll get going there. Lots of blends coming out I would love for them to do, I would love for there to be more blended malts. I mean, the economy of it is wonderful. This is so balanced. I mean, it's sweet up front, like a sherry bomb, but it's mellow, and the heat on it is just a warmth. It's not spicy really at all. It's a little dry, but not tannic or just really, Saharan on your. It's absolutely stunning and lovely, and dare I say would probably be in one of my like top 3 or 4. Big hit for sure. Oh, so Limbury is Billy Walker's first peated. Oh, that was the first peated. So not the Minkle Tour. You're talking about the very, very first one they came out, I'm guessing. Okay. Peter, why did I think you were? So I was like, there is a Pete from Arizona, but I'm assuming the one from Toronto or Ontario. Sorry. Gotcha. I'm getting there. I swear I haven't been drinking until just now. So let's go, and we're going to go to the next category, which is bourbon casks. And y'all, I can't even imagine all the whiskey I've had this year. I wish I was better at documenting it, like some folks in the chat that I know and love do such a great job of documenting everything that they have. And that's why they are the encyclopedia for the chat, because they know these things. I get excited and just want to be in the moment, and I forget to write everything down. I've gone to Scotland twice this year with a book to purposely write everything down, and it's come back empty pretty much both times. So I just need to be okay with it and move on. These 3 were all from our trip this summer. And left to right was the first one, which is the one of poured, and that was my splurge bottle that my friend Kevin here helped make happen. And we got to get you some of this, friend, or it's gonna be too late. This is let me flip this around real quick so you can see the bottle. This is a Peated 29 year from 1993. Can I tell you how big my hair looked in 1993? Mark and I have been married just a couple of years. This is 48.6% first fill bourbon. Y'all, Peated ain't there no more, as we say down here. It was a Diageo. Oh my gosh. It was a Diageo distillery in Speyside, and it's not there. Hey, Tim, I see you. Cage bottle signing. Yep. And it's so floral on the nose. It's just like you get the floral, but you get the vanilla and the oak. And I mean, for 29 years, it's gonna be sitting in some oak for a while, So sometimes you get a little lumberyard, or you get that acetone off-putting if something gets over oaked. Not this at all. Super sweet up front, and then it goes into the wood, a little bit more vanilla, a little spice at the end, more of a, it's just it's not really a white pepper. It's not a hot pepper. It's not like a cinnamon or a ginger or anything, kind of that spice. It's a little warm, very light, crisp, but kind of musty, kind of like dank dunnage house, especially on the finish, because it's that one for 29 years, not something that that you just are going to run. I ain't going to run to Martin's to get this, you know. Ain't going to run to Oak Point and get this. And that's one of the things about going to being able to be fortunate enough to be able to go over there and do something like that, do a tasting with these different, you know, unicorn bottles. In my realm, they are. But be able to taste something like this and be able to appreciate that how old. I've not really had a whole lot of old whiskey. So I never could really understand when people would say it's kind of musty. It's like an old dunnage. It's like it's an old whiskey. Like I couldn't taste old because I hadn't had any old. So then when I did, I was like, okay, I get it now. I get the old part of this and why that makes sense. It's just it's a standout. It's different. It's a wow. And so that's why it's on my list. That second bottle, yes. I want to see Daniel's in. Hey, friend. Well, while we're talking Pitty Vic, was built to provide again, Graham's and he and Andrew got the corner on the encyclopedia. They're our Wikipedia, y'all. To provide Diageo with more blending whiskey in the style of neighboring Dufftown distillery. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. So the second bottle up here is indeed a cage bottle. And Graham, I think you have this one. I think somebody had it in Glasgow. I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was Roy. I don't remember. Tom, you might remember. But I remember looking at it going, I'm pretty sure that's the same batch as mine. And the cask is 132. You know, it says to explain what a cage bottle is, if you get to go to Springbank, and they have in the store, they'll have these kind of one-off bottles. And way back, they were actually in a cage. This is kind of more of a cabinet with a cage-like door on it. And you would be able to go and buy one of those. And it might be, you know, the end of a cask that they're bottling and getting, you know, finishing with something. But people line up before the place opens to get a cage bottle. And so I was there for my barley to bottle tour and blending session. And I wanted to get a bottle because I knew they were going to run out. And they do, I think, replenish during the day. But, you know, I kind of wanted to get in there and get my bottle. So I did. And I was in line. There was like 4 or 5 guys in front of me. And they were all just, oh, I want to get a sherry. Oh, I want to get a sherry. I want to get a sherry. And I'm like, please, I just want a refill bourbon Springbank. I just want a refill bourbon Springbank. I just think refill bourbon Springbanks are the bomb. They just have the best like depth of flavor. They are slightly complex but balanced, and I really wanted it, and I was able to get one. And this one was 14 years old. And when you think about how much Springbanks cost right now, I want to say this was 65 or 75 pounds, which is like, okay, say maybe $75 to $85. You can't touch a 10 for less than $100 in Baton Rouge. So this is what, and this is cask strength. So yeah, this is what I mean, that's what I wanted to get. I was so not disappointed. Yes, you go there and you rattle that cage, right? Rattle that cage to get a cage bottle. Hey, Jimmy Jazz. Great to see you, my friend. Yum. So Mike's got, now he's poured the 2022 Kilkerran 8 sherry cask. Okay, it's not as good as the 2023, but scratches the sherry itch with the Bowie knife. Little sharp there. Are you telling me? Interesting to know. It scratches the itch with a Bowie knife. I love it. That's awesome. So yes, cage bottle. They quite I'm sure it was different. I know I saw something, but isn't that, taking a picture? I literally at the festival, at the Glasgow Whiskey Festival, um, going through and taking pictures of everything that I could, that I did get to sample. And then going back and said, did I really get to have that? That's amazing, right? Crazy. Um, Goodness. Hey, Blackfin is in. And evening, just joined. Glad you're on. What you're having, Balkan 18. Wow, yum. That's guessing it's sweet and smoky all at the same time. Mm, yum. Thanks for coming in. Hope you have fun. We have a great group here, and let us know what some of your standouts were, Blackfin, this year. This third one was off the charts, and I have a wee tiny. Oh, not that one. Where'd it go? It's around here somewhere. I have. Where did it go? This is all that I have left of it. This tiny little bit. This tiny little bit. This is a 31-year Glen Scotia first fill bourbon that we got in the warehouse tour when we went this summer. And why this tastes amazing. And I'm hanging on to this little sample. Oh my God. It's Campbelltown funk, but with that Glen Scotia spirit. Oh my heavens. I'm hanging on to this one. It was in 1991. So, and it was 31 at the time that it was started being bottled. Y'all, they're going to be bottling this one. And it's like, well, it's going to probably be about 1,000 pounds a bottle. This is one where you say, I'm glad I had it. And I'm very thankful for that, but understand I'm not going to be buying a bottle. It was stunning. And being in the atmosphere of the warehouse at Glen Scotia with my husband, who I married in 1991, y'all, can I get it was a very sweet, special moment. And just the two of us being able to share that whiskey, as old as our commitment to each other, was really, really something. So we've got, I may hang on to this last bit until the next anniversary, just so we can have it for that. But yeah, that was one that was truly memorable and definitely a fave bourbon cask. So we had a 29, a 14, and a 31. Can you get these down at the store? No, you can't. But you can seek out what is available and find things that can elevate your palate and elevate your appreciation for something that a lot of people think with a bourbon cask is just rudimentary. And I don't think that could be any further than the truth. To me, it's quintessential Scotch, and definitely memorable drams. All right, I can already tell we're going to go over a little tonight, guys. I'm enjoying these all over again. Let's see who else. Yum. So up to 15-year cage bottles are still at 75 pounds. Yep. And then when you went to the October, it's 6, 7, 8-year-old bottles. And then the day after 16, 17, 15, 16, 17s. So yeah. So, I mean, it's probably kind of a, hit and miss kind of thing. But even if you got one in the morning, if you could go back in the afternoon or early the next day, you could probably get the thing. But you sign your name. You notice my name was on that. And the reason is, I mean, you sign in a book. That does not go to secondary market. It goes secondary market. They find out about it. You're not ever going to buy another one. I can promise you. 29 years. Damn. That's some good stuff. Okay. So you kind of have to have a caveat in everything in the world. And that brings us to the next category, which is sherry and wine casks. And a couple weeks ago, we had a show on smoky and sweet. And that's kind of been my jam a lot this year. And when I started putting all of these together, I'm like, I got a lot of smoky and sweets. And a couple of those are here, even though they're peated. We're going to have a peated category after this. But the sherry and wine casks were some that I was really impressed with this year. And I guess I just kind of got on a roll with them. So you'll see a couple of other ones. And running out of time and putting this together, I was like, they're all going to go out there. So we'll see. We'll see how they go. Hey, Ben, good to see you. Thanks. Your coffee and water tonight? Oh, well, that's okay. We'll drink one. Graham, it's only one per week. When's the week start? Is it Monday or Sunday? Goodness. That's great. Yeah, Ben, we got you covered. We'll have a dram or two for you. No worry about that. Go ahead and enjoy your coffee while you got it. So let me show you my selections for the sherry and the wine casks. We've got 3 here that we can chat more about. The one in the middle, I think you know a lot about. If you watched the episode with me, Gregor, and Chris Everwin, where we went through the Ardent American, this bottle is, half gone. And it's just an amazing, and yes, peated, but to me, it's sherry forward. So the sherry over trumps the peat. I can even smell the peat right now, but I am clogged up, so that may not help. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful bottle. This was the 57.8 ABV U.S. bottling. I actually took samples of this back over to Scotland when I went back for the Glasgow Whiskey Festival, because I knew some of those folks were not going to have access to it. And I wanted to bring some home back to the motherland. But it was a wow whiskey. It was just, dang, this is really good stuff. And when I look at there are Americans that I've had exposure to, which we talked about McLean's Nose. There's actually one coming up in the peated version, in the peated selections, but this one was so very well balanced to me, and I feel like I've said that like 2 or 3 times now, but that's part of what my criteria of a really good whiskey is, and what one of my favorite whiskeys are going to be. I really do like an oddball kind of thing from time to time, but my faves are going to be one of those where it's very well-rounded, very put together, like, and crafted and matured to where it's like the whole shebang, I guess is what I'm saying. As a sherry bomb goes, to me, this was the whole shebang. It was so good. The peat complemented the sherry. The sherry did not override the whiskey. So that one was a favorite. And I got to have it and taste it for the first time with 2 of my best whiskey buds on the show. So Ardent America, really, really tasty bottling. The first one, I am an unapologetic fangirl of Olive Race. And this bottle is their celebration distillery exclusive for the Tourism Destination of the Year for 2022. They've won 2 awards. One was the Distillery of the Year 2022, which is this bottling, which I also got, and that's the Scottish Whisky Distillery of the Year for 2022. And this one is unpeated. Unpeated. And it's Four Roses Bourbon and Quercus Humboldti Colombian Oak. When Mark and I were, when we were there this summer and we went to Race, Alistair Day took us back and he gave us a sample of the Quercus Humboldti out of the cask. And I just about lost my mind. It was unbelievable. So I had to get this one because it's finished in it. So it was in the Four Roses for, I would guess, this one I think is pushing 6 years old. So I would guess it was probably in there for at least probably 4 or more years, and then finished in the Colombian oak for probably 18 months or 2 years. I may have to send him a note and ask him more about that. But this is absolutely lovely and stunning. But the one for this category for sherry and wine cask is their tourism destination. It's Ex Manzanilla. Y'all, it's lightly peated. So again, the Manzanilla trumps the amount of peat, in here. Lightly peated with chamomile, almonds, and salted caramel. I'm going to cry when this one's empty. I'm going to cry. I'm pretty sure Mark JG has this one as well. But yeah, so this is my third dram. When will YouTube get smell-o-vision? Oh my gosh. I wish I could just here's my microphone. Can y'all smell this? It's so good. There's this fruity, orangey funk. From the first Race that I've had, I've gotten funk off of their, when Gregor sent me a blind with the inaugural release, and I was sure it was Campbelltown because of the funk. That is, yeah, I know, man. I don't know. What are we going to do? What are we going to do when this is all gone? I'm just getting marmalade and tea and dunnage and a little brine. Yeah, this is one that you sit there for a while. When you sit there for a while, and yeah, Blackfin, let me know. Yeah, I hear you, friend. It's so very good. Good day from the future. Hey, thanks for joining us on your Wednesday. I appreciate that, Ian. For those who don't know, Ian's in Australia. Goodness gracious. I'm gonna need a minute. Y'all, all those, the nose follows on the palate. It's the orange, it's the brine. The peat is super light, and it's not even, it's more of a whiff of smoke, not ashy and not campfire. It's just a whiff of smoke, of wood smoke, like charcoal smoke. Not barbecue charcoal, but like charcoal wood. Just absolutely lovely. Yeah, actually they do. Race uses chinkapin in their main in their main offering. I got to have their cask strength of the 6. So X-Rye, chinkapin, and red Bordeaux. They use those 3 peated and unpeated for their core range, and just lovely. Well, I got to have a cask version of that, which kicked that ABV up, and absolutely lovely. Here we go. This is the lanyap, y'all. This is the little something extra. You learned a word today, lanyap, that we use down here in Louisiana. That means it's your baker's dozen. It's the extra little thing you get, and that is knowing that Potomac Wine and Spirits still has Art in America. Wow. Yeah. Good to know. May have to get another one of those. Hey, Mark, let's talk about Christmas presents again. Oh, my heavens. Did I try the Art American cast strength green bottles over there? I don't think I did. I don't remember the green bottles, Graham. I have a cast strength Art American, but I don't remember the green bottles. So apart from the Balkan 18 or Gordon McFarland, the Mortlock 15, Teeling 15, Japanese edition, Shochu finish, and Glenallachie 8. That Scottish oak finish, yes, great dram. Had that at Glenallachie this year. And I was like, Scottish oak, where did you find enough oak trees to make a cask in Scotland? It just doesn't seem like that's a very prevalent, species of tree over there. And then they're making they're making cask out of it. That's how rare that is. Rare as hen's teeth, as they say. Goodness gracious. Yeah, and his point, I think, Andrew, was that they normally use the Quercus, the Chinkapin instead of Quercus alba for normal stuff. But the Humboldti is, that's the Colombian oak for sure. Yeah, he got that. And see, okay, Rob has the Rassay unpeated ex Bordeaux, and it's amazing. Y'all, and think how young these whiskeys are. 5 to 6.5-ish years, and talking to Alistair, he's not going to put an age statement on those bottles. They're just going to age up. They're just going to age up as their batches, as they get more and more casks. But believe me, he's got a ton. I mean, they are making whiskey. They're never going to make mass quantities. They're not going to be, putting out, 5 million liters a year of something. They're still going to be making really good whiskey that we're going to be able to get, and Hooker Crook will find ways to get it. But, just amazing stuff that they're definitely coming out with. I'm so proud of what they're doing at Rassay. And the thing is, they're going, the same people, Alistair and his business partner, those folks are going to be opening a Campbelltown distillery, Mackerhanish. Last I spoke with them, they were set on putting together, getting the final okays from the municipalities and getting the green light on everything. Somebody else may have an update from that. But, hopefully they're going to break ground this year. The Mackerhanish farm is literally off the road where you're coming in from Glasgow down the peninsula into Campbelltown. It's right by the airport. It's right by the Mackerhanish golf club, course. So it is a wonderful place. And they're going to be true to it, just as they were Rassay. They're going to they have old buildings there at the farm. They're going to modernize and add the distillery to that. You're going to be able to stay there. They're just going to do it right because they've done it right in Rassay. They're going to do it right in Campbelltown. And I'm so stoked about that. I can't even tell you. Can I tell you? A little stoked. So back to the sherry and wine cask. This third one, Aaron 17. This was a dram I got to have at the Glasgow Whiskey Festival this past year. And it is wasn't Palo Let me think what this maturation was. It was Calvados casks. That's it. But again, just depth of flavor, so very tasty. And something that I'm not going to find on my shelves. That's for sure. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. So getting back into talking about Ardnamurchan. So Jimmy Jess says that Connell McKenzie, is making another trip to the U.S. and hopes to get to Tucson. Whiskey and wine trails, Tom. You get all the fun out there. I hope that's the case, buddy. He looks like more fun than you could just about stand. Hey, Kyle, thanks for being in. Cheers, friend. Finishing your Wheel Horse cigar blend, and I'm going to pour a cask strength Luckily or the Lag 11, the bourbon one. Yum. I got to have my first Lag distillery edition from when Graham and I were at the Curly Coo in Sterling. So I got to say I've had my first Lag. Aaron's got to be on the next trip, y'all. I really wanted it this summer, but just logistically, it just wasn't going to happen. And that's okay. There's a lot of whiskey to work my way through. I'll get there eventually. But yeah, that Aaron 17 was amazing. And again, the balance, the depth of flavor, the things that, because wine casks can go really bad. Y'all, I have determined that an STR red wine cask is not my jam. For some reason, those just have not hit my palate right at all. And we've all had sherry casks that was like, is there any whiskey in this? It's just so overtly like a bottle of red instead of really whiskey. It has to complement. It has to play off the strengths of the spirit and not overpower the spirit. And that's what all three of these to me were, just beautiful examples of how the spirit married with the finish of the wine, be it sherry or manzanilla or the calvados. Just beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So Ian says he's got 2 of the Slangia Club cask release. Ooh. Might be the Christmas or your Hogmanay dram. Awesome. And the is the inaugural release. That I may have to chase eventually. I know that there's some still out there. But I might have to see if I can chase that bottle some. Because I am very much a fan of Rassay. I love the Isle Rassay spirit. I love what's coming off. Their new make was stunning. But I also like the people. I mean, their people make me want to like their whiskey even more than I already like it. So that's really important, because I want to support good people. And if I like your whiskey, but you're not really a nice person, I'm not going to talk about you, because your whiskey can't be that good. Yeah. Graham, you're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble. Still lots of these, I know I should have brought the Duncana home, but I didn't. Worth the trip over? It's always worth the trip over. All the weapons. I love this. And yeah, so you talk to our friend here now. I need some of that 18 in your life. Yep. So, okay. So it's from Fallen Trees. That makes a lot of sense. So you're familiar with Westland in Seattle. They're Gariana Oak, which is this red topped one right there. They are only from felled trees, so they can't cut a tree down to make a cask. So that makes experience. Fair point, Kyle. Absolutely fair point. Sometimes core releases on a brand spanking new distillery, can be a bit not where you kind of would have wanted it to be. But I also think that sometimes economically they got to get something out the door. If they can hang their hat on it and it's okay, I'll give them the grace on that. But I also think that's where you go, exactly what you said. You're excited for their future, but you wanted it to have a few more years. Think about what it is going to be in a few more years. Um, I'm super excited that you were cool with that, straight out the gate with lag. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Mm-mm-mm. Have I tried any Calvados as Calvados? Is just the actual wine? I don't believe so. A while back, I bought a PX, a Doloroso, a Fino, and a Manzanilla. No, a Amontillado. Those sherries to taste those. And I'd like to do that again to taste, to kind of get into Manzanilla, Marsalis, what is the other one? Sauternes, just some different types of wine finishes to see how I can identify what those tastes are to the whiskey maturation that they might use with those casks. But yeah, so evidently Mike has, and he loves it. That's awesome. Mm, mm-mm. So, so Kyle says he thinks he booked a night at the Curly Coo, booked on the wife's calendar, that is, based on your influencing me. You're not going to go wrong, and I'll appreciate it when you thank me later. And you have to thank Graham because he's the one that took me there. Yeah, amazing. So having a little bit more of this. This is one you kind of have to sit with, this Manzanilla. And with this little in the bottle, it's getting precious. I mean, I'm not getting precious yet, but it's getting precious, that it's just a little bit less every single time, Mm. Okay. Thanks for hanging with me, y'all. We got a good group in here. I know we're over, but now we're going to go, and we're going to go and turn up the peat. Turn up the peat. Turn up the peat. Mm. Goodness gracious. I just love this. See, so here's what I did, Tom. I'm proud that you brought the Duncana. I talked to Scott Fraser there at R&B when I went over to Edinburgh one day when we this last trip, where I got to finally meet you. I'm so happy. And he's like, Lee, 15,000 bottles are headed to the States. You're gonna have it. It's probably gonna beat you there. And I'm like, well, it's probably not gonna get. I've already emailed the distributor for Louisiana that carries Isle Race. I was like, dude, when are we getting it? Because I didn't realize that I already had a bottle of the Colombian oak. So I bought a bottle of the Colombian oak there, I think at Good Spirits, and I brought that home when I should have probably got the Duncana, which is a sherry. Is one of their limited editions, y'all. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be easy to spot because the label is reversed. It's got a burgundy label of the Racing. So smart on you for bringing that one home. Have you cracked it open yet? Or did you have any over there, Tom? You have to let me know. We'll send out a sample. Thank you. Well, gladly. I have some things ready for you, friend. Okay. What else? Okay. Peated. Let's go into Peated. Let's go to Peated. Okay. Y'all. This is all on the west coast of Scotland. And not one of them is an Isla. Is someone going to come and get my whiskey card and take it away from me? Oh, y'all. Now I have to, all right, let me preface this and say we had a stunning tasting with David Brody at Bunnahabhain and had unbelievable drams. They were just fabulous. So very good. Y'all know how much I love Isla. I mean, absolutely adore it. But I have to say that um, these three were some standouts. The one in the middle, we're going to start with the one in the middle. This is one that tastes really, really good, but it means more because of this situation. This is the cask strength Ardnamurchan AD 02.22 that Jennifer and I did the review, the Camp Drammer review of, where we're in the boat in the swamp with the bullfrogs. This is a lovely dram. It's so good. I really, really enjoyed, and really was influenced by the company that I had in the environment that I was drinking in. Yes, that is all. It is our Camp Dram. that is a wow peated whiskey for me. I love the mineralic characteristics of Ardnamurchan. We had one in the blend, we had one in the sherry, and we had one in the peated version. So I'm really loving what they're doing out there. All of these young, and I say young, they're 10 years now. So they're 10 years, they're getting into a veteran stage. But these young whiskeys that are coming out of the new distilleries are just really impressive, because I think their spirit is that much better than our I would just say their spirit is truly crafted, as opposed to some that are just on automatic. Um and I say that for larger quantity things. You know, it's kind of one of those things. So you poured some of that for a newbie the other night and he loved it. That's awesome. See, and that's the beauty about it too. So yeah, the Ardnamurchan cask strength, loving it at cask strength. You can play with it a little bit with water, but it really is a thing. The first one is a Glen Scotia, SMWS. I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can read the numbers. 93.201. There's sand in my sourdough. It is exactly as it sounds. It's sourdough starter funk. Okay. With brine and a little char, mostly char other than peat. You know, it's just fabulous. This is the Queen Street SMWS in Edinburgh. And sitting there again in the environment, I'm in freaking Edinburgh. I'm at SMWS. I'm having my Glen Scotia, my oily and coastal, my fave flavor profile of theirs. And I'm like, all is right with the world. That stunning, just absolutely beautiful, beautiful dram. Only 8 years old. Whiskey doesn't have to be super old. It doesn't have to be the 29-year-old Pitted. It doesn't have to be the 31-year-old Glen Scotia. It could be the 8-year-old Glen Scotia. I think it's probably close to 60 ABV, you know, and it's just fabulous. It was a stunner. It was a wow. So that's why it made my fave list for sure. And then the one on the right is a very poor picture, but that is oh my gosh, I didn't even put a picture of the one I'm drinking. You can tell I was in a hurry. Okay, so the one on the right is a Talisker 10 from Old Malt Company. Old Malt Cask is Old Malt Company. I can't remember what it's called, but that was at the Glasgow Whiskey Festival, and it kind of was like, hey, have you had the Talisker 11? Have you had the Talisker 11? Like, it was like this, like going around. It was the Bunnahabhain 19-year, I think it was, at SMWS that everybody was freaking out over, and this Talisker 11. Graham, I don't know. Did you have this one? What about you, Tom? Did you have it when you were there? Oh my word. You talk about good. Just salty, malty campfire. Just with like this, not quite confectioner, just it was a brighter sweet, but not really fruity. I can't believe I remember, but I can taste that in my mind. How very tasty it was. Oh my goodness, so very good. Um, mm, um, so you had the great. Is that what it is? GWF at one of the favorite of the day. Still, the bottle still shut. Okay. Had it at, oh yeah, at the grocery. Yes. Okay. Cool. I thought you had to. Man, so you ended up getting a bottle of that? Man, I need to goodness gracious. That one, hang on to that. That's one you need to milk for a while. It's what Talisker 10 really should be. If it was cask strength. That's what that really should be. So the fourth one that I have in my glass is one that I'm a big fan. So this is new for me because I mean I've had it, but this is a favorite, but a version that I've just been able to have since I was in Glasgow. And more, I want to while we're talking about the Glen Scotia, I mean the Talisker. Yes, has many different. Yeah, that I mean people were screaming over that dram. Everybody was going back over there, and y'all, I get to have the Kilhoman 16. You know, their oldest Kilhoman ever. You know, and that was really good. But this was just oof, it was so tasty. Mm. So the nose on this, I'm not going to show you what it is yet. I'm a big fan of their earlier versions that were 46%. And what is this? Yeah, it's 50. This is 50 ABV. It's vatted. It's not cask strength. And it's warm blackberries and currants with a hint of peat and smoke. Just, mm, mm, mm. Oh, man. It's so good. So good. This is a stunner. This is the 2023 version. I hear the 2022 version was exceptional. But this is Caboken 15 for the Peated. This is truly amazing. Barely any peat on it that I taste. I mean, just red berries all the way through. Mm, 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 mm. So, isn't that funny though, Rob? Is that you kind of get to a point where, you know, the branded version got you in the door, but the independent bottling gets you really inquisitive about what that spirit can do outside of the regiment of what has to go out the door and on the shelf for that brand. You know, it's not like Talisker, a big Diageo distillery can do a lot of one-offs, right? They've got to have enough for Storm. They got to do 10. They got to do either 18. They got to do whatever they're going to do. And hopefully one day you might have a dram of 25 and call it good, you know. But someone else being able to take that spirit and then do something with it really is enlightening, whether it's Talisker or anybody else. But it's interesting that you're like, you always that always catches your eye if you see an independent Talisker. And And I think too, if you kind of get get in the groove with certain independent bottlers, like you know what you're going to get. I feel like I'm in the groove with SMWS. I mean, I feel like there've not been any really big misses that I've had with an SMWS bottle. Murray McDavid is another one, or actually David McDavid. Is it David McDavid or Murray McDavid? I'm trying to remember. There was a Glen Scotia I had. I think it was Murray McDavid. It's one with the little dog, right? But it's just I feel good and confident about what they're doing, how they marry the cask that they choose with the type of spirits. If they don't take a light spirit and overwhelm it with a heavy cask, or vice versa, or put a heavy spirit on a weak cask, but that they marriage it well, you know. Some Gordon MacPhail's, I think, are right there. You kind of get a feeling about how that works out, right? And it's interesting to see what these independent bottlers can do to that the distillery itself just doesn't have the leeway, or, the bandwidth or the niche of market to be able to do, because those aren't going to be the ones they're going to sell mass quantities of. Those are going to be to the independent bottlers who we, the enthusiasts, the crazy people that geek over whiskey, and I mean that in the very best way, that we get the benefit of. Has anybody else had this Kuboken 15? Let me know. Oh, hey, Tim. Speaking of Scotland, Stephen, last time I saw you were in the pot still, I think, huh? Yeah, the Fino. That one's really good. It is really good. See, Jen, I think we opened that one up at your house, for sure. So, very similar to last year's inaugural release. Okay, so I'm glad to say, Blackfin, that it's really close to that, because it's one of those things. Just like, oh, well, that's the 23. Last year's was amazing. It's like, well, this is one that's on the shelf, and this particular one was purchased on sale for me over there. Because it was like, I don't know, almost 20 pounds off the price. And very sweet dear Peter Lee was able to go grab one for me, and I got it at the whiskey festival that day. So yeah, it was awesome. Oh, yes, another great one, Rob. And a Kalila that's independent bottling. Yes, absolutely. Yum, yum, yum. Goodness. Well, any other big favorites that y'all have thinking this year? Anything that really stood out? I mean, when I think about all the drams that I had, and there were a lot, and one of my resolutions or affirmations, maybe it should be an affirmation instead of resolution, is to try to track my whiskey better next year. We'll see how that goes. But, from the drams that we had at the Victoria Whiskey Festival last year, things that samples that Chad provided, that I've had a couple of, and truly, y'all, I squirrel those away. I know I'm guilty of it. Andrew, I'm still dreaming of this cask number 3, this Dornoch Castle dram. And you see, I'm rationing it out. I did not drink it all that one night, because I just can't make myself do it. I haven't even worked through all of those. Graham's given me stuff. People have given me stuff. Tom gave me stuff. I've got all these things. I'm cataloging. I'm trying to figure out like how I want to be able to enjoy these and not just taste them, but experience them. I can't talk, but to get the whole breadth of it. So trying to do a lot of planning for 2024, because y'all, it's here in 1, 2, 3. It's here in 3 weeks. We're in a new year in 3 weeks. This is crazy. So, kind of going through some of my favorites. I'm definitely on a sweet and smoky kick, but just seeing that I cannot believe that I've been able to taste some of this, you know? Um, and that's the cool thing too about our community is that we can help each other find some different things that we may not have exposure to. So um, just really, you know, being able to share that is a big deal. Um, Look at Jennifer's comment. Of course, favorite drams were honestly the ones I shared with friends. That sample tasting episode with Chad was awesome. Absolutely. So back after we got back, Jennifer and I got back from the Victoria Whiskey Festival, we had Chad on and we tasted some of the drams that he provided us. And it was just, that's wonderful. The Ardent American with Chris and Gregor, you know. Um, Jennifer and I, right before I leave to go to Glasgow, get to go to the summer trip, she and I are at a Louis Capaldi show in Houston, his last show of his tour in the North America. And everybody's drinking margaritas, and she and I killed a bottle of Glenmorangie 18 that they had to go find the binder to find the price to figure out how much it was. The most overpriced scotch either of us probably ever bought at a concert venue in Houston. But we're sitting there listening to this man from Glasgow sing his guts out, and there's no way in hell I'm drinking a margarita to that. That was the best Glenbow 18 I've ever had because I was there with my bestie listening to this guy sing, and it was all about that environment, right? Having that 1991 Glen Scotia with Mark, you know, at Glen Scotia. It's just those are those things. Having the drams, having my first lag at the Curly Coo with Graham, being able to meet Andrew at the Melody Bar in London, having drams with him. You know, all of those just taste better because you have the people around you, you know. And if you can't get around to other people, this box right here, this box right here, this is where we meet up and we have those drams and we share them. So if you can be there in person, great. If you can't, that's what Tuesday nights are for, right? Absolutely. I love it. Let's see. So Andrew got another Dornick Castle, the Cask 21 and Cask 101. Wow. I'm impressed because I know you went up to that festival at Dornick, right? I bet that was amazing. Oh, Graham did a flight of Gordon MacPhail peated Ardmores from the 1990s. Wow. Ardmore is very different and enjoyable. Peated whiskey. Lovely, lovely. Goodness. So Tim, is that not procuring the Caboke tried one of the pot still the next day? Yeah, terrific. Terrific stuff. Definitely sure. So Ben, hey, you got there. Oloroso matured 2018 Deanston. A 12-year. That sounds delicious. That sounds so good. So good. Well, next week, we have gone, y'all, almost an hour and a half. Thanks for hanging with me. I think we're having fun, right? In the comments, put some more of your suggestions about your whiskey of the year, whiskey, your favorites. If you think it's the best, why? If it's your fave, why? Next week, we're going to talk more about, like, we're just going to look at the year in review. A lot happened in 2023. This was a very, very big whiskey year for me. I think all in all, there was like a month and a half I was doing whiskey stuff, which out of 12 is not bad odds, actually. So yeah, we're going to do a recap of 2023 next week rather, of the whole year. And it'll be another fun slideshow thing where we get to drink really good whiskey. Probably drink a couple more of these things that I had for my faves this year. Just a note, the 26th is a Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month, and we won't have a show that night. My brother has a birthday, and I'm going to be with family that night. So I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much for being part of the chat, being part of the group, being part of the Camp Drammers, and all the support. Really, y'all make my week every week to come here and be able to talk about this, enjoy our time together. I'm going to have a little bit more of this Caboken, and then I'm probably going to go back to that old Perth to finish the night off. But thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. And by the way, yes, Jane Daniels from LSU just won the Heisman. Go Tigers. Love y'all all. Salute y'all.